The news, a city court has granted bail to Dutch national Wilhelm, who was charged with child pornography. Hume was arrested by city police in Chennai recently for uploading sexually explicit pictures of children on the net. The man pleaded not guilty before the court.
The Dutch national Wilhelm, accused of pedophilia and child pornography using Indian orphans, granted bail. Reason? Chennai police has not been able to file Hume's charge sheet even 80 days after arresting him. The police say forensic examination of the evidence in cases such as these require time and argue it's more a case of thorough investigation than shoddy investigation.
It's not at all a delay. We are just waiting for the report from the FSL, so you can't say it's a delay. And that has nothing to do with the strength of the case. The case is quite strong. See, that is why we are waiting for this FSL report, Forensic Science Lab report. And once it comes, I think the case will be very strong.
Wilhelm, a social worker from Holland, made India his home 30 years ago. He started an orphanage in Mahabalipuram, where in 2002 he was accused of sexually abusing some children. That case was still in court when in November 2009, the police found he was uploading child pornography pictures on the net from home and arrested him.
So in the same way, I think child sexual abuse charges against a person who is maybe a repeat offender needs to be looked at differently in the whole judicial process.
It's a closely watched first of its kind case after the amendment to the IT Act, and pressure is mounting on the Chennai police to make sure Wilhelm is brought to justice. In Chennai, with camera person Sukumar, Sam Daniel for NDTV.
To get a clear perspective on that issue, we had our executive editor Sanjay Pinto earlier in our studio.
These type of cases, we should not think of time, because we have to collect all the evidences. CRPC were bail, but we have to collect clinching evidences, because we have to...
Even to file the charge sheet, I'm not talking about conducting the trial. To file the charge sheet...
Filing charge sheet, we have to subject the digital storage media for in the forensic lab. They have to analyze and they have to give it. After analyze, we have to conduct further investigation.
Vidya Reddy, to bring you in here, I mean, do you believe that, in fact, the laws need to be made much stricter? Because now if people are going to, we all know that bail is the norm and jail is the exception. But at least in this category of cases, do you believe the laws need to be perhaps slightly overhauled?
Sanjay, it's more than the laws. I think we have enough laws. I mean, we could have a more comprehensive law to address child sexual abuse, but we do have a fairly comprehensive law to address child sexual abuse images. But I think here what really needs to be looked at are the procedures involved. For instance, if we are looking at the case of Wilhelm, we need to understand that this is a man who has prior child sex abuse charges against him. And
precisely, which means when he's enlarged on bail, Vidya, obviously he's going to commit offences again. We've seen that as a trend. You, as somebody who's been working in this field, know that for a fact. We've seen that even with the Alan Dean case in Orissa. He went around masquerading as an eye surgeon, conducting cataract surgery. You've seen that with the Balaji case in Bangalore. So when you let these people out on bail, chances are that they will go around abusing more children.
Yeah, but I think it's more than the, constantly making the police the whipping post. I think we have to look at the judicial temperament, that the judiciary has to have a better idea of the unique dynamics which govern child sexual abuse or sexual violence against children. That there is a whole process of grooming which ensures the silence and secrecy.
There's also a silence, the conspiracy of silence here, Vidya. I mean, you have mentioned, in fact, I know you've lobbied hard to get Section 67B included in the IT Act to give it more teeth. But we have laws and laws. Do you believe that the problem lies in effective prosecution and effective implementation of the laws?
I believe it involves both investigation, prosecution, and most important, since we are talking about bail, first of all, I'd like to make it very clear that Wilhelm getting bail is no big deal, because as we speak, there are many other child rapists and child molesters who also got bail today in India. So why are we making such a big deal about this case is one. The second thing I think is very important, as I said, is to give the judiciary, magistrates and other judicial officers an understanding about the dynamics of sexual abuse. You have Supreme Court judgments which talk about momentary lapse of judgment or momentary lust. I think we need to look at the larger picture when we're looking at child sexual abuse, that is pre-planned, it escalates, it's repeated, it's usually done by somebody known to the child. I want to ask
Mr. Balu here, I want to ask a cyber expert here. What are the procedures, very briefly since we're running out of time, what are the procedures to actually, to analyze evidence collected Because here the Commissioner of Police, Chennai, says that these are technical issues and it takes time. Also, it took a while for them to actually get information from, from various departments because they wanted to check his voter ID card, his ration card.
Sir, before the amendment of IT Act 2008, there is no separate provision for child pornography. Here, pornography means offense, but we have amended recently, we have sections. But collecting digital evidence, we have taken efforts and collected, but then we have to send it to the lab.
What is the procedure, sir? When it goes to the lab, what exactly happens there? Why does it take so long?
Because they have to analyze in depth. Because it depends upon the questions.
Are we equipped to handle, do we have sufficient cyber forensic resources?
Yes, yes.
Are we wanting there?
We have separate lab since 2007, it is functioning.
It's well equipped?
It is quite well good and trained persons are there. But depends upon the questions. They have to analyze in depth because it is an important case. You have to analyze all the evidences and then only they will give a report.
We also have information, if you can confirm this for us, you can give us clues, Vidya. Alan Dean, that child abuser in Orissa, apparently started a home in Puducherry, is that correct?
He also is involved with the management of a home in Pondicherry, which is very worrying.
Which
There's
is
no
very
doubt
alarming.
about that.
Mr. Balu, you've heard that from the NGO here. We've got a tip-off on the show. Will you on NDTV Hindu guarantee us that you will conduct a raid at this place and check whether something murky is going on there? A person who had a red corner notice from Interpol actually has links with a home in Puducherry. Will you crack the whip, sir? Will you do something about it?
It's a jurisdiction point you are telling about the Puducherry.
Will you pass on the information to your Puducherry counterparts?
Definitely.
Because you can, because there are obviously, there could be children from Chennai as well.
To the jurisdiction officer to take action.
Okay, because there could be victims invariably. Puducherry is not very far, 160 kilometers away. They could have, could have children also there from here.
Definitely it can be passed on.
We will take this up.
Definitely.
All right.
All right, hoping that the police does something about that tip-off. When we come back, we'll bring you the story on how canals in the city are increasingly turning into garbage dumps.